Hello friends, welcome to my channel, The Study Magnets. Well, today I'll be discussing a very important questions from chapter 1, that is issue of shares. It has been repeated multiple times in previous year question paper as well. I'll be discussing only the 2 marks questions in this video from the chapter issue of shares. Let me start with it. The question 1 is, give any two differences between equity shares and preference shares. Well, in case of equity shares, the rate of dividend is not fixed, but in case of preference shares, the rate of dividend is always fixed or constant. Equity shareholders are the actual owners of the company, whereas the preference shareholders are not the owners of company. They are creditors of the company. Moving on to the second question, what is paid up capital? Paid up capital is that portion of the called up capital which is actually paid by the applicants to the company. Let's move on to the third question. What do you understand by calls in arrears? Sometimes some of the shareholders may not pay call money when it is actually been called by the company. That part of the capital which has been called up by the company but not yet paid by the members or the applicants is called as calls in arrears. Moving on to the next question. What do you mean by oversubscription? When the applications for the shares are received by the company, the public may apply for more number of shares than that offered for the subscription. Then in that case, where excess number of shares has been applied for, it is said to be oversubscription. Moving on to the next question. What do you understand by issue of shares at premium? When a company issues shares for public subscription at a higher price, which is higher than the face value of the shares, then it is called as, this arrangement is called as issue of shares at premium. What do you mean by issue of shares at discount? When a company issues shares at a price which is less than the face value of the shares, it is called as, this arrangement is termed as shares are issued at discount. What is forfeiture of shares? Forfeiture of shares refers to cancellation of the shares which is issued by the company to the shareholder. This happens mostly in case of non-payment of the call money or the call money which is called by the company. Moving on to the next question. How do you treat shares which is issued to vendors? In this case, instead of payment of cash, usually shares are issued for purchase of any asset. So the journal entry is also displayed on the screen. It is asset account, that particular asset account, debtor to equity share capital account. Next question is, differentiate between shares and debentures. Shares constitute the capital of the company, whereas the debentures constitute the loan of the company. The basic differences of the capital and the loan in nature. Shareholders get dividend in return, but debenture holders get interest in return. Now moving on to the 10th question, that is, what are irredeemable preference shares? These are the preference shares which can be converted into equity shares at the option of the preference shareholders. Further, it will not be redeemed by the company. They have the option to convert these preference shares to equity shares. Of course, it will be at the option of the shareholders. Moving on to the next question, mention the different classes of capital of a company. I have mentioned 5 classes of capital of company here. It is authorized share capital, subscribed share capital, issued share capital, called up share capital, and paid up capital. What do you mean by authorized capital? It is the maximum amount of capital which a company is authorized to raise from the public by issue of shares. It is also more commonly known as registered capital or the nominal capital. It is the maximum amount of capital which the company is authorized to issue. What are participating preference shares? Participating preference shares are those category of shares, the holders of which, that is the preference shareholders, are entitled in addition to the fixed or the constant rate of dividend to participate in the surplus profits of the company. Thank you, friends, for watching this video. I kindly request you to subscribe to this channel in more number, because a lot of videos will be upcoming now based upon the important questions for your exams. Thank you.